That's the Life Lab, where we dissect the small stuff, the big stuff, and all the weird, squishy human stuff in between. Today we're going to talk about something that's haunted classrooms, boardrooms, and dinner tables for centuries: the stupid question. Now, you've heard the saying, there's no such thing as a stupid question. And if you're like me, you've probably rolled your eyes at it once or twice. But there's a twist. I actually think the phrase is true. I just think we misunderstand what it means. So today, I want to make the case for embracing stupid questions, but asking them, honouring them, and maybe even letting them lead us somewhere smarter. So why do we fear asking a stupid question? How many times have you been in a meeting or a class or even a group chat and you wanted to ask something, but you didn't because you thought everybody else probably knows this already? Or what if I don't look like I know what I'm doing? Well, they probably don't know either. They just might be a bit better at faking it in that moment. We've built a culture where pretending to understand is more acceptable than admitting we don't. And that's pretty weird. And actually not asking the question is often dumber than asking it. Because when we don't ask, we stay confused. And when we do ask, we learn. And so does everyone else who's been silently wondering the same thing. So let's shift the scene a bit. Picture my client, an ambitious rising star executive, sharp, driven. She's in a high stakes meeting. They're talking strategy, budgets, the whole corporate shebang. And midway through, somebody says something she doesn't understand. Everyone else just nods. Now, she could stop the meeting and ask, sorry, can you help me understand that a bit better? But she doesn't. And why is that? Well, because she's ambitious, because she wants to belong in that room, because she's worked too hard to risk looking like she doesn't belong. And here's the problem. In that silence, she misses something crucial. Maybe a nuance in the strategy, maybe a red flag in the numbers. She's nodding, but she's not really on board, not fully. And probably at least a couple of other people in the room are wondering the same thing, but nobody wants to be the one to ask. This happens a lot more than we think. Ambitious people often fall into the trap of believing that confidence means already knowing everything. But real leadership, wise leadership, means knowing when to say, hold on, I don't follow. Can we just go over this again, please? Not only does that build clarity, it builds trust, because if a sharp, capable leader could admit they don't know something, it gives everyone else permission to do the same. So in that moment, asking the so-called stupid question isn't actually a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It says, I care more about getting this right than looking smart for 5 minutes. And in a room full of people who are pretending, they'll remember the one who wasn't afraid to speak up. So how do we get better at asking these questions? First, we've got to let go of the ego. Difficult to do, but it's okay not to know something. In fact, it's essential to learning. Second, create space for questions for your own and for others. If someone else asks something basic, don't mock it, celebrate it. You might learn something too. And third, practice. Start small. Ask that thing that you've been wondering, but we're too embarrassed to say out loud. It might just lead you somewhere unexpected. So, quick experiment for you for the week. When you feel like there's a stupid question you need to ask, just ask it. It might be in a conversation, it might be online. Just see what happens. Worst case, you get a weird look, but best case, you learn something, or you spark a discussion, or you start a chain reaction of curiosity. Asking questions isn't a weakness, it's a superpower disguised in humility. See you next time.